On today's episode of Better Student Leaders, I'm interviewing a student from the University of Auckland, Mariefinah Marcuelo, who was recently in a workshop that we conducted over a couple of days. I'm really excited to have Mariefinah on the podcast today to share a little bit about her experience, what she learned, and how she's going to apply it in her studies and her life. Mariefinah, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. This is so
So good.
exciting.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. How have you been since we were together in Auckland?
Busy, but it's okay because we're getting through it. Almost the end of the year.
I love it. Well
Almost.
done. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking some time to come on today. I'd love to know from the workshop, and it's nice now that it's a couple of weeks later that
Yeah.
we always say the good stuff sticks, Tim Ferriss
Yes.
quote. So, what sticks from you? What do you remember from the workshop? What are those key takeaways?
I think definitely for goal setting, the way that I've kind of changed how I approach goals now is different. And I've actually tried to apply this. I've written my own goals since then. And like I can really see that if you measure something, you really get this dopamine system. So if you have a goal, as simple as it is, like let's say if I want to sleep earlier and I say, okay, if I sleep before this time and you do it and you get that dopamine from it, that's how you measure, and your measuring becomes your dopamine system. So I feel like applying that and seeing it that way is better. And also just the what stuck to me for sure is the positive redirection that we were talking about, because a lot of the time since our workshop, I've been busy and there's a lot of autopilot routines going on, and I can't keep up with everything that I want to do. But if I tell myself like, okay, for me, if someone told me that to get the grades that I wanted to get, I have to go through this, will I do it? And it's like it's almost always yes, always yes. So it's like that's how I see things from now because of that workshop. And yeah, those are the things that's really sticking at the moment. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And you're really involved with the Women in Engineering Network on campus.
Yes.
I understand at the workshop you
Yes.
set some pretty exciting goals about a new project that you want to kick off there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so
I
tell us about
actually
it.
Okay, so I've done a media kit. So I started doing my covers. It's really exciting actually. That's a milestone for my goal because I've written a goal for it. And one of the milestone was make a cover, make an account, reach out to one person, reach out to two people, and then just like a bunch of things I could measure. And a system for
Marifina,
me.
sorry to interrupt. Just for the
Yeah.
audience who's listening, they don't know what you're actually working on.
Oh,
So you're totally fine. I love it. This is the weird difference of
oh my
podcast
gosh,
versus you and I
yes.
having a chat. So for the
Okay.
listener, what is that big
For the
project you're
listener.
working on?
Okay, so the big project that I'm working on that I did not tell you guys is that I wanted to start my own podcast. So this is a learning experience for me as much as it is being interviewed. So I wanted to revive the Women in Engineering podcast from my university, and at the moment, no one is taking charge of it. Right. So I wanted to try and maybe get some interesting people, interesting women in there and interview some of them and learn a learn a few things, maybe a lot of things, and share it to my cohort and everyone in engineering pretty much, or any women actually. I think one of the goals I wanted to have for the podcast was to make sure that women are represented, especially in a male-dominated space. I feel like listening to success stories and listening to people who have, especially women who have taken a path that you wanted to take and see them succeed is something that is important for a lot of youth, especially for people younger than me who maybe wanting to do engineering. I think that's a perfect way to encourage them to do it. So that's one of my goals for the podcast.
And so with that goal, which is awesome, and I love,
Yes.
and just so everyone knows, you're how far into your university degree? How far into
I'm
your
on my
master's degree are you?
I'm in my undergraduate degree for engineering, so I'm a first year engineer.
First year
I
undergraduate.
Yes,
That was my bad
first
joke
year.
of setting you up for that. Yes, ex and this is what I want people to hear is it's like you are listening right now to Marifina, a first year student who has come in, who's taken herself to a leadership event, who has stuck around for multiple days, has connected with people who set a big goal, who's already involved in clubs and societies, and has seen this opportunity of, I'm going to revitalize this podcast. I'm going to connect with amazing women, talk about incredible ideas.
Yeah.
That's the potential. That is so
It
awesome.
is. And I feel like because it's such big potential and it has such amazing purpose behind it that leaving it is not like it doesn't it doesn't do me any justice, and it just like wastes a lot of potential that it holds so much of it. And
Mm,
if I ignore it, it's like and really turning a blind eye on something so big, right?
mm.
So I don't think I can.
Marifina, I'm interviewing someone on the podcast tomorrow who I'm really excited about. His name's Harry Moffat, and he's a retired now Australian Special Forces soldier. Spent 1,000 days in combat, and now teaches leadership at
Wow.
Australian Police Academy. Like
Oh yeah.
incredible, just incredible guy. And one of his lines in the book that I just underlined and I thought about for like 2 hours was he says, "You're not born a leader, you don't become a leader. Leadership arrives." Like there's a point in your life where an opportunity is in front of you, and the idea to step into that leadership, like it arrives. And talking to you here, it's like you've seen something that you're like, I can't describe it. It's
Yeah.
like an opportunity, and it's like it's just such a beautiful
It
example of
is.
it arriving for you, and seeing you like
Yes.
flourish in it is so cool.
It is. It is. It sounds so cool. It sounds scary, but it sounds cool. Like,
Yes.
it's a good project
Tell
to have. It's my new passion project. Passion project for.
tell me about the scared bit of it. I think the listener would be really interested. So
Yeah.
it's one thing, motivated young person kicking goals. I think it's another
Yeah.
thing to actually say, I'm doing something that scares me. How do you think about that?
It's scary because I feel like the way that, like, the scale of it, daunting. Because I'm actually talking to important people. Like, that's the goal, is to talk to people who have succeeded and have gone through a path that I want to go to. And it's scary because, like, I don't know if there's a lot of doubts. Like I remember in the workshop we were talking about missed opportunities and mistakes. And when I wrote my goal, I looked at, actually I have my system up in front of me right now, but when I wrote my goal, like what's something that would stop me? And it's like fear. It's really just fear and just being embarrassed that why am I important? Why am I talking to you? Like why does it matter, right? So it's like the scale of it is that's the scary part. And also just because it holds so much potential, I don't want to underdeliver it. So there's a lot of overthinking that goes behind this. But I remember my partner talking to me and he said, "It's good that you're scared. You're stepping out of your comfort zone." And I'm like, I think I just need to embrace that. Like
Mm.
I just really need to embrace that fear. But yeah, it starts with that. It's okay. We'll get through it.
I love that. One of my favorite ever, and you were in the workshop with me, I love to define terms. One of my favorite ever
Yeah.
definitions is a definition of courage. And I define courage as action plus fear. And so you'd say, well, can you be courageous if you have no fear? It's like,
Mm,
not really.
yeah.
It's not courageous. It's
That's
not
true.
courageous
That's
to,
so true. Let me
you
write that
know,
down.
yeah, well, that's good. But I think that you being fear, so then the other way to reverse engineer that, you're an engineer, right? We like
Yes.
formulas. If you believe that courage is action, times fear, if you've got fear, the only thing that stops you being courageous is the action bit. So it's like
Yeah.
you're going to be fearful if you do or if you don't. Like people are
Yeah.
afraid of the job they don't apply for, they're afraid if they do apply. So I'm like,
Exactly.
if we want to be that courageous leader, it's like as soon as fear shows up, it means like fear equals I'm in the presence of the opportunity of courage. Like I'm about to knock on the door of courage right now. And
Yeah.
so that sounds like great advice from your partner to say
Yeah. No,
reframing
yeah,
fear is a
yeah.
good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, that's what and also just positive redirection. I said, if someone told me that for the podcast to be successful, I'd have to go through like 10 people saying no to me, then it's like, I'd still do it. So it's
Can I
really
make you
powerful that
can I make
way.
you a bet, Marifina? Sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna make you a bet that you will not get 10 no's in the next 12 months. I, I'm going to make you that
Okay.
bet on wax because
Okay.
we're going to publish this
Okay.
podcast, right? And
Okay.
I'm going to bet. Now, some
Okay.
people just won't write back because they're busy, they don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get 10 no's. I think you're going to struggle to have people to say no to you because I think when you reach out, you're so genuine, you're doing absolutely everything right. It's such a great community. I think you're going to, I know, I dare you to get 10 no's, Marifina. I don't think you can do it. I think you're
That's a
just
good
gonna
dare to have.
you're gonna charm them. You're so prepared. The fact you have notes in the background for our chat today, like
Yeah.
you're doing everything right.
Oh, that's hearing that gives me so much reassurance, but also so much fear. Like I'm just like, I'm doing everything right, but what if one day I just mess up? And
Yeah.
there's a pressure, but at the same
Mm.
time, like if you go back to what we learned in the workshop, it's you just have to take that ego out and just like really just
Yes.
put them on the wall and just be, shut up, don't
Yes.
don't talk to me right now. And just honestly, like day by day, just keep going at it. I feel like any goal that you have, just try to keep going at it.
What a what a powerful mindset. And I think people are listening right now and they're hearing your voice. And obviously you're first year in university, you're in, you're in high school last year. So
Yeah,
which is awesome. And I think people will relate to you as that student they see, that daughter they have, that little sister they grew up with and go, if everyone had that mindset that you've got of like, I'm gonna do this thing, it's gonna help people, but even though I'm
yeah,
afraid, it's like, but what separates you is you're just taking action. You're
yeah.
you're making the media kit, you're sending the messages. Last question for you, and then I'll let you go. Who are some people that you want to enlist in your success? Who are the people around you that you want to sign on as mentors, as supporters, as whether it's people in the faculty, at the uni, in your personal life?
Yeah.
Like who have you set yourself up with to support you in this in this project?
I think one of the people that are definitely, like I mentioned before, my partner is really supportive of this. So obviously, going with him is one of my goals. So I actually want to have a goal with him to have a monthly meeting with our, for what we have to do for the next month. I think that's a really good goal to have. We have to talk about that. And
He's
also,
finding out about that right now, I guess, listening to the
Yeah.
podcast.
No, I told him like
Great.
before this, I was like, no, because I showed him my goals. I was like, this is what I've written before the podcast I was preparing. And he was like, okay, that's nice. And he said, what about me? And I said, I'm gonna write a goal for us to sit down and talk about our goals. That's our goal, is to grow together, right? So it's one of
Wow.
the people I really want to enlist in my success. But also the people in my faculty, women in engineering, have been so supportive. So I
Great.
told you after our workshop about when we talked about the podcast I was going to start, I went to my coordinator immediately. I actually went to her immediately. And she was so supportive about it. And just shout out to Uniza. Hi. Uniza is our women in engineering coordinator this year. And when I mentioned the idea to her, she was so genuinely just like, yes, go for it, do it. We are here. What do you need? And I was
Wow.
like, oh, that is just amazing. Like
Wow.
having that support. And so by doing this podcast, I really want to make sure that the Women in Engineering network, and honestly, women in any male dominated spaces, women in tech, women in science, I just want to make sure that they are enlisted in my success by feeling empowered, and also just having something to listen to that encourages them every day to do something that they're afraid of and to do something and to step into a space where they might not feel as, as empowered. Because
Wow.
till now, like women in engineering spaces, the ratios are still off, and having people listen to something inspiring is like a ripple of change. So when you inspire someone, they feel inspired to inspire someone else. And I feel like that's something I would want to continue doing. So, yeah.
Well, Marifina, it was an absolute pleasure to have you in the workshops in Auckland. It was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for your time today. More so, it's my favorite part of my entire job and our work is finding people who are right there where leadership has arrived for you and you have answered the call. You're being
Yeah.
courageous, and it's so obvious from what you're sharing that you're not just thinking about what's in it for you, but how it's going to benefit other people. And I think if you keep that service leadership mentality in your mind, there's absolutely nothing stopping you. And I love that you don't graduate next year because we get to see all the cool things that you get to do for the next
Yes.
few years.
Yes.
And if you ever need, you've got so much support. If you ever need anything, you have a blank check of time, or any resource you need from me. So just reach out. I want to put that out publicly. If you need anything, just reach out. Here for you, cheering for you.
Thank you so much, Josh. That workshop really did change my mindset. Like after that workshop took so much more action. So I really, really appreciate the work that you do. So thank you
Appreciate
as
you.
well. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. And thanks for listening, everyone. If you listen to this podcast today, check out Marifina. I'll put her link to LinkedIn. down below. If you're a woman in engineering and you'd like to throw your hat in the ring to be on the podcast with Marifina, please reach out and just follow her page. Give us some love, give us some support when we share the podcast. Find the post about it or put a little comment down in Spotify in the comments and just share that little bit of positivity. If you've enjoyed hearing from Marifina today, and if you'd like to know more about the workshops that she participated in and how they could potentially be run at your university, just reach out to me as well. I'm Josh Farr on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.